Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Real Reviews by Loukprop, and today we'll be talking about Lentor Modern, right? It's one of the most highly anticipated launches of this year. It's an integrated development, so I'm excited to talk about it today. Let's go. So before we begin, as usual, we'll be assessing based on these 5 factors: location and connectivity, development quality and facilities, competitive pricing, rental yield, and stack selection. Now let's get to the first point. So let's start with location and connectivity. Now the location of Lentor Modern right now is right beside Lentor MRT station. Like I said before, it is an integrated development, integrated with the MRT and also a mall at the bottom, but we'll talk about the mall a little bit later. So this MRT station that we're seeing right here, Lentor, right, is on the Thomson East Coast Line. And I've talked about Thomson East Coast Line in quite a bit of videos in the past. But if we are talking about Thomson East Coast Line, it actually links you from Woodlands all the way down to Orchard, CBD and Marina area. So it's a very accessible MRT line. Now to show you how connected Lentor MRT is, right, it is actually 2 stations down to Bright Hill MRT, which will be an interchange to the Cross Island line. It will be ready by 2030. It is also 3 stations down upwards to Woodlands MRT, right? Like I told you earlier on, Woodlands will be a sort of decentralized CBD area, and it is an interchange to the red line, the north-south line. It is also 4 stations down, 1, 2, 3, 4 stations down to Caldecott, which is a circle line, right? So it is very connected to different interchanges and different MRT lines, which makes it very convenient. Furthermore, like I said earlier on, it links you all the way down to CBD area, so about 6 stops to the downtown line at Newton area. But if you want to go further down to Orchard, Havelock, and even Outram Park area, it is very accessible as well. So if you remember when we were talking about Amo Residences and Water Gardens review, we talked about the North-South corridor as well. So this North-South corridor is actually a 21.5 kilometers transit corridor featuring cycling trunk routes, bus routes, pedestrian routes, an expressway that links the northern region all the way down to the Marina region, which will save you a lot of traveling time. And this North-South corridor is actually, if you can see Lentor Modern here, North-South corridor is actually along this line here, right? It will pass through Ang Mo Kio Bishan Park. So you're really within a few minutes drive away to the future North-South corridor as well, which will add on to the ongoing transformation in the area also. Another good thing about the location is its proximity to nature, right? Actually, right in front of Lentor Modern, there's this Lentor Hillock Park, right? But within a few minutes drive away, you're also next to Thomson Nature Park, Lower Pierce Reservoir Park, and a 9 minutes drive away to SICC, which is the Singapore Island Country Club. If you're avid golfers, this will be one of the places that you will always frequent, okay? And also, if you're talking about proximity to schools, you're also within 1 kilometer of Anderson Primary School, CHIJ St. Nick's, and also Mayflower Primary School. Also, you are actually very near to Nanyang Polytechnic, all right, and also as Anderson Serangoon Junior College. So pretty near to all the schools that you will need within the next few years for your kids, right? However, one of the downsides for Lentor Modern right now is that it is not very close to amenities in the area. Currently, the only one that I can really see that is a little bit more significant is the Block 628 Food Center and Wet Market. Currently, that's there. But keep in mind that Lentor Modern is going to be an integrated development, right? There will be a 96,000 square feet mall residing just below Lentor Modern. So if you want to get your dining needs settled, your shopping needs, your grocery needs, I think you can settle within the development itself. Also, in this immediate Lentor area, they are going to be building a new township there, and with a new township being built around this area, there's bound to be more amenities that will pop up around the area. So in time to come, you'll definitely see this entire area being more vibrant with amenities and things like shopping, food courts, eateries, so on and so forth. So in summary, although this location doesn't have much amenities going for it, but with it being an integrated development and also it being a new township, there will definitely be more amenities that will pop up around the area in the next few years. Also, in terms of connectivity, you are right next to Lentor MRT. It's 2 to 6 stops from 3 different MRT lines. And also, you have a north-south corridor that's building next to you. So in terms of location and connectivity, we'll give it a score of 4/5. Next point, let's talk about development quality and facilities. So let's start out with the developer. The developer is actually Guocoland. And if you have seen Guocoland in many projects so far, right, it's because they've been really active in the last few years and they are very experienced developer in Singapore. In fact, some of the developments that they have done is Guoco Tower, Warlick Residences, Guoco Midtown Modern, which all happen to be mixed-use or integrated development. So they are a very experienced developer that gives you good quality in terms of your development qualities, and also they are really experienced in making integrated and mixed-use developments. So in fact, right, if you look at the latest 2 projects that they have done recently, one is Sims Urban Oasis here by Guocoland. They've actually achieved the Conquest Star, and for Warlick Residences, which is here, right, they've achieved 90. So they are consistently developing good quality products. And then let's talk about the project now, right? The project is 605 units with a mixture of 1 to 4 bidders. It will also feature a 96,000 square feet commercial space at the bottom, like I told you earlier on, the mall at the bottom. And it will have a 12,000 square feet supermarket and a 10,000 square feet childcare center. If you remember the last review we did on Piccadilly Grand, their mall was only 16,000 square feet. This will be 96,000 square feet, right? A total of 3 towers, you can see here. All 3 are 25 stories high with a 14-story sky garden on each of these towers, you can see here. And if you can see from the picture here, alright, they have actually dedicated quite a bit of land space to build large landscapes around the area. It will feature about 150 species of plants. For the entire development as well, the entire frontage is actually a landed frontage. Behind Lentor Modern will actually be a few other plots of land that is yet to be sold. So the best view for Lentor Modern is actually this frontage of landed, right? Which I will discuss a little bit in the stack selection later on as well. But in general, whatever you really need in the facilities of a condo, you will definitely have it in Lentor Modern. Talking about the first 2 floors, which are the commercial components, like I said, you can see there's a huge supermarket here, and on level 2 there will be this childcare center as well. So this will be the commercial layer, and on the level 4 area will be your facilities layer. As you can see here, you will definitely have your tennis courts. You have your 50-meter lap pool here, a 25-meter like a lounge pool, lap pool as well. You have 2 gyms, right? One indoor and one outdoor here, right? And you will have your grand clubhouse with all your function rooms, dining rooms. You can see here the grand clubhouse here, business lounge, dance studio, games room, right? For bookings. And as I said earlier on, because it's a large landscape, various gardens and pavilions will be dotted around the entire development also. So nothing too special about the landscaping and facilities. Whatever you need in a condo, you definitely have it in Lentor Modern. But it is worth looking at their 14-story sky gardens as well. So all these sky gardens will be actually featuring several lounges, terraces, gardens. It's a mix and match of different types of all these things for all 3 blocks. So not only do you have a rest area in the 4th level facilities, if you want to get away from the pool area where there may be quite a few people there, you can go to the sky lounges on the 14th floors as well. And I think you'll really enjoy the 14th floor facilities if you are looking out into the landed area, because it will give you an unblocked and expansive view of the entire area. So in summary, because Guocoland is such an experienced developer, especially with integrated and mixed-use developments, I'm certain that the facilities will be very good. Everything you need in the facilities, you will have it. And also the commercial component of Lentor Modern will also be managed well as well. So for score of development quality and facilities, I'll give it 4/5. Next, let's talk about the competitive pricing. Now, if you were to look at Lentor Modern right here, we do a search within 1 kilometer of Lentor Modern, these are the various condos that are currently right now in the area. Now you can see that all of them are pretty old. You have from 1980s all the way to 2000s. The newest being Meadows at Pierce, which was built in 2012. So even the newest one there right now is at least 13 to 14 years older than Lentor Modern, which is quite a big difference in age gap. But if we were to look at the pricing, let's take the 2000 onwards, right? We would be looking at a between 1,200 to 1,500 per square foot in terms of prices of existing condos, which are again 13 to 14 years older. So there is definitely a price gap for Lentor Modern. They do deserve a higher price than these projects right here because number one, it's an integrated development. Number two, it's much newer, 13 to 14 years newer at least. So that they do deserve a price increase, but let's take a look at their land sales. Now, if we were to take a look at Lentor Modern, their break-even price is about 1,933 per square feet, right? Which means that if we were to add on a 20 to 25% profit margin for the developers, they would likely be launching at a 2,003 to 2,005 per square feet kind of pricing. That is if they want to make a 20 to 25% profit margin, but developers have come up with a price guide as low as from 1,900 per square feet, which if they do sell something that's 1,009 per square feet, right, it is at or below their current break-even pricing. So I don't know how true it will be because as of recording right now, they haven't launched yet. But when the video is eventually out, they would have probably launched it already because the launch date is actually on 17th of September. So if they were to launch at 1,009, any units that you can buy at 1,009, that would be a good deal. But I'm guessing more of around the range of 2001 to 2003. If you can buy something within 2001 to 2003, it would be pretty good. But if they will be averaging around 2003 to 2005, that would be at least a 1,000 per square foot difference from the rest of the projects in the area. Now, taking note, of course, 13 to 14 years younger, but $1,000 price gap may be a bit too wide. However, if you really can get something between 2001 to 2003, it would be a pretty good price, noting that it's a very new development. However, there is a saving grace for Lentor Modern, which will pick up its score eventually when I score it later on, which is the land sales that's surrounding it. So if you take a look at Lentor Modern, this is the piece of land, right? This is slightly darker in color because it is a residential plus commercial. It is made for mixed-use developments. However, the rest of the plots of land surrounding it, right, are all just residential. So this piece of land is definitely special in this Lentor estate. So if we take a look at these few pieces of land, you can see that there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of land that are currently empty, not sold yet. Actually, correction, this piece of land was already sold. All right, the break-even price is, let me see, the break-even price is 1,749 per square foot. All right, so I think it's pretty fair that this is 1,749 and that Lentor Modern is 1,933. That $180 per square foot difference makes sense because this is not integrated development. This is not a mixed-use development. And if you have watched our previous mixed-use development reviews like a Piccadilly Grand, so on and so forth, right, you would know that there's always a premium to an integrated or mixed-use development. So the premium makes sense. However, there are still 7 other pieces of land that is yet to be sold. And in Singapore's case, land sales are always getting more and more expensive, right? It doesn't get cheaper. So if these 7 pieces of land are eventually all being sold out, I would go as far as to guess that they may be sold at a price that is similar, if not higher, to Lentor Modern in the future, right? We don't need all 7 to be more expensive. Just maybe 2 or 3 pieces of land here to be sold at Lentor Modern's price or more expensive, it will immediately make Lentor Modern more attractive than the rest of the projects here, purely because it is an integrated development that's closest to the MRT station. So in summary, one of the downsides of the pricing of Lentor Modern is that although it is much newer, 13 to 14 years newer, but the price gap is about $1,000 per square foot difference, which is a really big price gap. But the saving grace for Lentor Modern is that it has still many plots of land surrounding it that hasn't been sold yet, which will likely be sold at the same price or maybe even higher in the future, which will form a great support for Lentor Modern. So assuming if they were to really sell at between an average pricing of 2001 to 2003, my score for Lentor Modern for pricing is 3.5/5. On the premise that it's really launched at an average of between 2001 to 2003. If it exceeds that, then the score will be very different. Okay, newsflash, as we were editing this video, another 2 land sales were done just around Lentor area. As we all know, Lentor Modern was sold at 1204 per square foot per plot ratio, and Lentor Hills Road Parcel A was sold at 1060 per square foot per plot ratio, both to Guocoland. And since then, the next 2 land sites, which is Lentor Central Parcel B and Lentor Hills Road Parcel B, was both sold. Both were sold at higher than Lentor Hills Road Parcel A. One is at 1108 per square foot per plot ratio, and the other one is 1130 per square foot per plot ratio. So this is actually great news for Lentor Modern, because now these 2 sites are actually much closer to Lentor Modern's land price, which means that they are likely going to be launching at similar pricing to Lentor Modern. But these 2 other land sites are actually non-integrated, right? So this doesn't change my score for pricing, and let's get on to the video. Next, we talk about rental yield. Now, if you're talking about tenant pool around the area, the most obvious one would be this Tagore industrial area. And also for the surrounding condos, right, that are pretty old, all right? A new Lentor Modern with an integrated development concept will definitely draw the tenants from all these condos into Lentor Modern, right? Especially if the price is reasonable as well. Now, if you're talking about competitors, there really isn't much of a comparison because the other condos are pretty old. But if we were to take the examples of Calrose and Meadows at Pierce, let's take a look at their rental rates right now. So if you were to see Calrose, for example, let's say a 2-bedder, right? A 2-bedder can range anywhere from 2004 or 2003 to about 3006 currently, right? So 2003 to 3006, Meadows at Pierce would look to be roughly around, let me see the rental transactions of their 2-bedders. And Meadows at Pierce 2-bedders would be roughly ranging around 2004 to 3005, right? Being newer as well, of course, it will command slightly higher in terms of its rental rate. So if you are looking at competitors around the area, we would be looking at between 2003 to about 3005 in terms of rental rates. But Lentor Modern is newer, and Lentor Modern is an integrated development. So there is a premium to its rental that we should be giving to Lentor Modern. How much of a premium are we talking about? Let's also compare between integrated developments and not integrated developments, like normal developments, right? For example, let's say North Park Residences versus Symphony Suites in Yishun, right? So these 2 developments right now, for North Park, you're commanding about 2007 to 3004 per month in terms of its 2-bedders. But for Symphony Suites, we are commanding between 2000 to 2007 in terms of its rental rates. So we are looking at about a 700 per square feet difference in rental just because of its integrated development status. Now, if we were to take a look at Lentor Modern, all right, combining the fact that it is much newer than Meadows at Pierce or Calrose, and it is also an integrated development, I think giving it a premium of $700 per month is not too much to ask for. So with that being said, I think that the rental rate should be between $3,000 for a 2-bedder to about $4,200 for a 2-bedder. So being conservative in its pricing, let's assume that 2-bedders are between 1.5 million to 1.7 million, and taking a very conservative rental rate of 3,000 to 4,002, we would be looking at a rental yield of 2.4 to 3% rental yield, which isn't too bad, but it's not the best as well. So for the score for rental yield, we'll give it 3/5. And lastly, stack selection. Now when we look at stack selection, we look at these factors. So how do you do our selection for the stacks? Now for the northeastern side, you will get a landed view, so definitely you'll get a very good view, your landed unblocked view. For the southwestern side, however, I have to factor in that in the future, there will be new developments building there that will block your view. However, for those at Tower 3, you might not have it that bad because diagonally across you, that plot of land is actually a plot ratio of 2.8 as opposed to Lentor Modern's 3.5. So if you were to buy a higher floor, you will still get quite a good unblocked view. So after factoring all of those, these are your ideal stacks, your average stacks, and your not so ideal stacks, which gives it a score of 3/5. Now gathering all the scores of the various segments, we have an overall score of 3.5/5, which is a pretty good score for Lentor Modern. But if you want to know if Lentor Modern is the right project for you, or if there are any other projects that may be a better fit for you, give us a call, drop us a DM, and we'll get in touch with you very, very soon. If you found our review today useful, please let us know in the comment section below, and of course let us know what other projects you want us to review as well. And as usual, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel because it will help our channel a lot. And we'll see you in the next real review. Bye!